Check Ghana. Let's have a conversation with him on misinformation and disinformation. Good morning, Kweku. We are grateful for your time this morning.
Hi, good morning. Pleasure to be here.
Yes, thank you for your patience too. Undoubtedly, misinformation and disinformation remain a threat to our modern democracy. What would you ascribe to as the main factors fanning this problem of misinformation and disinformation?
Well, thank you, and it's a pleasure to join you this morning from my home. You're right, misinformation and disinformation has become a major issue. The Global Risk Analyst report in 2024, I identified misinformation and disinformation as one of the greater risks that's affecting that will be affecting democracies across the world, especially in Africa, in the next 3 years. You see, so misinformation and disinformation has become a major issue, and now it's become a buzzword that moves around every now and then. The question, therefore, is why has it become a major issue now? Well, I must say that the concept of misleading people, concept of swaying people, coming up with stories for certain ends, it's not really new with our world. As far back as history, we can bring of governments, presidents, leaders of institutions that cooked up propaganda narratives, polarizing narratives for whatever purpose, just so that they could let things happen. We have read of wars, we have read of conflict that is premised on false information and things like that. But lately, we have become very conscious of it because of the digital age and how it's become very easy for us to spread information, to send information, to edit or massage information, right? So previously, the rate at which information traveled, for instance, was very limited. The people who could orchestrate or come up with disinformation, coordinated disinformation at industrial level were very few. You need to be extremely powerful, a head of state, a government machinery, so you hear of Russian disinformation, you hear of even America and some of the Western states across First World War, Second World War. But now anybody with access to internet can begin to come up with narratives, false information that can affect almost everybody at any point in time. Information is traveling at its fastest rate. Access to social media that gives everybody the power to spread information, has also come contrary to, or as compared to, the previous era when anybody, before you could spread any information or share information at mass level, you would need to fall on the TVs, the radio stations. That was not available to just anybody, but the powerful and the influential people who could use monies or could use their privileges and powers to do that. And now people also have access to editing softwares that gives them the opportunity to change any narrative, massage any photo, fabricate any content, do anything, pick anybody's brand name, colors, anything, and put them together and begin to spread information. Now imagine that almost everybody who is doing some business is trying to mislead people about the impact of their business or whatever their business is able to do. A politician who wants to win power wants to massage the truth. A business person who wants to win a contract wants to massage something. Student who wants to go to school or gain admission is also using some software and things like that. So it's become a mainstay or a very pervasive narrative that cuts across many spheres or sectors of life today, because really it's been part of us since history, except that now people have had power. The people's power have come up through the social media platforms, through the internet, through the digital age, through generative AI, and essentially people having the right and powers to come up with any content at any point in time and put it out there. And then I must say that, the means of verification supposedly from the platforms, has also been very low, especially in our part of the world. So almost anything and anything goes. Think of this: election somewhere around 2008 or 2004 or year 2000. Conversations about false information and things like that were really not a big deal, because we are all falling on the limited radio stations and TV stations to get information from. Trained journalists, editors are in there. Stories will go through the processes before it is reported, right? But now in 2020, 2024, newsrooms are popping up. Issues of citizen journalism has popped up. Social media influencers have popped up. Everybody is playing a certain role in the information milieu or in the information landscape in one way or the other, and so that makes it extremely difficult for us to say this one is where the accurate information from, or this one is where false information is coming from. And so people are picking information from many different angles, and it is beginning to affect everything that has to do with our life today.
Kweku, I see the work Fact Check Ghana does on X platform, especially. You see certain information out there, especially with regards to the way the country is run. You then Fact Check brings out that based on this, that this information is false, or this information is true. We also see on X there's something called community notes. We see that it is more prevalent when the news is about the Western world, not more about Africa. What specific steps can social media platforms use or leverage, and also the authorities in Ghana use to reduce the reach of disinformation, apart from the work you do and maybe one or two other groups that look out for information and then debunk the wrong information? How can the social media platforms integrate the African sector into their work, and also our authorities? How can they, what steps can they take to reduce the reach of disinformation?
Well, thank you. I think the first thing for the social media platforms to do is actually admit that their work contributes significantly to how our world, moves now, right? Social media, it's almost like the alternate world where we live now. You wake up in the morning, you are checking on your Facebook, your Instagram, your TikTok, your X platform, and things like that. So the admission that the role that they play is extremely crucial to the decency of life, to the quality of life and human dignity across many levels, right? And I'm stressing this point because lately we see that X is beginning to move back, especially with the era of Elon Musk, in his appreciation of what the issues are and how and the role that they play. Secondly, we must understand that, or they must understand that we need to have a nuance or a contextual approach to fighting misinformation and disinformation on the platforms. And I say this to mean that it is not a one-size-fits-all approach, like they do in the United States, they do in the Europes of this world. It is not the same thing here in Africa, and even in Africa, it's big, in country-by-country basis. Again, we see that those things are missing. You go and Facebook has an office for the MENA region, one rep or something like that in Africa, or 2-3 people working in the African space. And where are they based? So they are based in Nigeria, they are based in Kenya, they are based in South Africa. What happens to Namibia? What happens to Ghana? What happens to small Togo and Benin? In context, certain narratives, becomes false information when you come into its context. I don't know if you've realized lately, when people want to make posts about topics that they consider sensitive in a way that want to avoid the algorithms, they will begin to either write in the local language. If it's here in Ghana, most likely the person will write in Cree. If I want to insult you, instead of saying foolish or fool, I will use a Cree word. Even if I want to write it in English, instead of writing FOOL, the two O's, I'll switch to 0, right? If I want to talk about sex, because the algorithms are going to block it, then therefore I will use a dollar sign or an euro sign, in place of something. I mean, that is the point I'm trying to make, that in context, if you don't get experienced hands, people who know the context in country, it will be very difficult to fight misinformation. This is something that they are not doing. And you are right about community notes that has come up to X. And Elon Musk did community notes in replace of the teams and groups that had been set up by the previous owners of X to actually monitor misinformation and disinformation and fight it. He comes, disbards all of them and begins to come up with community notes. And as we realize, the community notes don't even work effectively here. This is just on the other side. And even on the other side, studies have shown that about only 7% or 8% of posts that's misinformation that gets tagged with community notes. Here we rarely see it. Once in a while you may see one post be like that. And if you realize that even the people who can actually move for community notes are to a large extent people who have the blue check marks or have been verified on the platform. So for the most people who don't have verification on the platforms, even doing these community notes, that's not work, right? So back to the point that we need to therefore have contextual approaches to the conversation. What they are doing now is just rely on algorithm. If you see any narrative on sex, any narrative on hate speech or ethnicity, any narrative on calling somebody and sorry nigger or something like that on the platform, then the algorithm will flag it and say something that is wrong and things like that. But really, now people have moved around it and begin to use clever means of evading the algorithm. So they need to have that approach. 3, and that'll be the final point, is that the social media platforms need to attach the seriousness that they give to the Europeans, the seriousness that they give to the American system, the same seriousness here in Africa.
Okay.
Look, what? America is going to the polls today, tomorrow, right? If you see the preparedness that Meta and X and those people are being drawn to show that to fight against disinformation, you'll be marveled. But Ghana's election is just a month away, and you don't see any preparation whatsoever.
So
but
that's why my question is, how can our authorities leverage on certain apps? How can they also put in place steps to make sure that there's a hedge around our information? What steps can they put in place to block disinformation and misinformation?
Well, I think that we need to start working with the social media platforms. For starters, I don't believe in shutting down the internet during elections because you want to fight disinformation. I don't believe in necessarily silencing people or arresting people for sharing false information or whatsoever. And as you rightly explained at the beginning, the difference between disinformation and misinformation is intent. And if I engage in a misinformation, I didn't even know this was false, and I unmistakably shared the information, right? And then disinformation is sharing the information intentionally. But intent is always very difficult to decipher or to get in conversations like this. So I really don't even buy into the conversation that people should be jailed or necessarily and internet should be shut down and things like that. I think that we need to open it up. If it is the Electoral Commission that feels that disinformation is going to worry them, they should also situate themselves in the places where disinformation happens and spread accurate information so that people will know, right? Secondly, I think that we need to work with these institutions. Today in Europe, they have signed the DSA, the Digital Services Act. And what this act does is that it is holding the digital platforms, or what you call very large online platforms, to account, right? To say you must be accountable for illegal content that is published on your platform. So occasionally they will go and edit their algorithms. They will go and check and say that if you see false illegal content, and illegal content includes hate speech, includes false information, includes polarizing narratives and things like that, then you will be held responsible. Sadly, we've not been able to do that in our part of the world. And it's about time that Africa comes together. Of course, if Ghana approaches Meta alone to say that if you don't do A, B, C, D for us, we won't allow your platform to work in here, it may not work because we don't have the economic might and the numbers. Ghana is just about 30 million people, right? But if together we come as Africa, which is what the Europe has done. EU came together, 27 countries together with their powerful economies and influence to say, this is what we want from you and you must obey it. And now the Digital Services Act is operating. But here, we are not doing that. And I think that if AU is able to bring all of us together to say, let us come to sit by the table and start talking about the impact of mis and disinformation on your platforms, on us, because in terms of the democracies, in terms of institutions, ours are actually very weak and frail. That the slightest slip, there can be chaos, there can be conflict, wars, and things like that. Just because something flipped, you may not have like that in Europe, in Germany, in Belgium, and in those places. Their democracies have stayed for long. In the United States, look at what happened on January 6th. If it had happened in any African country, it is a recipe for disaster, turmoil. But they will be able to manage such things. And so it's about time that we sit down and say, in terms of impact of your platform affecting the dignities of life, people's human rights and things like that, it is going to happen in our part of the world. And so what are we going to do? These are the standards we expect from you, and these are the things. If we all come together with this influence and numbers, and things like that, 54 countries in Africa, maybe we'll be able to reach a point where the digital platforms will be held responsible, because I think it is the best way to fight disinformation. Beyond the work that we do, fact-checking coming in. Fact-checking is essentially firefighting. You spread information, immediately we come and spread, But studies have shown that the rate at which false information travels is way higher than the rate at which true information. You see a false information moving around, collecting 1 million views, you produce correct information or accurate information, and it doesn't go anywhere. And so we need to really come together as a collective body, one block, and discuss with these people and reach a deal. And we must do that as soon as possible, because now the internet, the digital spaces, we are making progress. Initially, we're talking about only the internet and digital spaces. Now it is the decentralized social media web. Now we use immersive media. People wear things on their eyes and they are in a different world altogether. That's another form of interaction on the internet spaces. Then now there's generative AI. If all of them come together, it can cause a lot of good for society, but can also cause a lot of damage. And we need to sit down around the table and discuss how we can control this in a way that it won't bring damage to our countries.
Thank you so much for your time this morning, Kweku. We are grateful for the conversation.
Pleasure.
Kweku Kwabea Asante is a team lead at Fact Check Ghana. The conversation on misinformation and disinformation. That's all Forefront Story this morning. Up next, we are going for sports, the latest in sports and health tips. And Derek Kumiki is on hand to give us the latest in sports. After that, Eric Melo Trinibwa will bring us some health tips. Stay tuned.
Hello there, good morning and welcome to the sports segment here on ABC in the morning. I am Derek Kumiki. Now let's dive into the world of sports as Nations FC goalkeeper Kofi Mensah has been handed a 3-match suspension by the Ghana FA Disciplinary Committee following an incident of misconduct during the team's recent 1-1 draw with BBN Gold Stars at the Dr. Kwame Chase Sports Complex. The goalkeeper was found guilty of unsporting behavior after he verbally abused match officials during the game. This suspension means Mensah will miss 3 critical upcoming matches for Nations FC against Insotraman, Kotoko and Berekum Chelsea, potentially impacting the team as they navigate a tough stretch in the league. The disciplinary committee's ruling emphasized the importance of upholding respect for match officials and maintaining decorum on the field. Mensah has also received a warning that any further misconduct in future matches will lead to even harsher penalties. The Ghana FA aims to reinforce professional conduct among players and staff in the league to ensure fair play and respect towards referees. This disciplinary committee serves as a reminder of the standard expected for all participants in the competition. Now, meanwhile, Nations FC have been handed a 1-match home ban by the Ghana Football Association's disciplinary committee following misconduct during their Premier League match day 6 clash against BBN Gold Stars at the Kwame Chase Sports Complex. The committee ruled the club failed to ensure the safety of match officials, allowing supporters to assault them during the game. Alongside the home ban, Nations FC have been fined 6,000 Ghana cedis and warned that any further incidents will result in stricter penalties. Currently second in the league, Nations FC will now host Insotraman this weekend at the neutral venue due to the sanction. Hearts of Lions head coach Basil Hayford has received a 5-match suspension from the Ghana Football Association disciplinary committee due to unsporting behavior towards match officials. The suspension follows incidents during Lions match day 7 clash with Karela United at Tamale's Aliu Mohammed Sports Stadium, where Hayford allegedly directed verbal abuse at the referees. Along with the ban, Hayford has been fined 5,000 Ghana cedis and warned that any further misconduct could lead to an even stricter penalties. This ruling sidelines Hayford from the team's upcoming fixtures against Berekum Chelsea, Accra Lions, Legon Cities, Samatex and Basak Holy Stars. His expected return to the touchline will be for Hearts of Lions December 24 match against Young Apostles. Hayford's absence presents a fresh challenge for Hearts of Lions as they look to build on their recent form, including recent victory over his former club Asante Kotoko just 1 day before the disciplinary committee's decision. The club has not yet released an official response regarding the suspension. Now, the second registration window for the 2024-25 football season will begin on December 23, 2024 and will close on January 22, 2025, providing clubs in various divisions the opportunity to register new players or make adjustments to their squad. The registration period is open to clubs in the Ghana Premier League, Women's Premier League, Division 1 League, as well as all regional leagues, including Division 3 and Court, which is the juvenile football. Clubs are encouraged to take full advantage of these windows to strengthen their squad for the rest of the season. This period offers a critical opportunity for teams to secure the talents they need to enhance their performance as the season progresses. The association continues to support clubs with resources and guidance to facilitate a smooth registration process. Well, and that's how we wrap up the sports segment here on ABC in the Morning. For more sports updates, please follow our website at www.abcnewsgh.com. I am Derek Kumi Kisiedu.
We are currently here at Kamishi.
When the news breaks, we are there. In the heart of matters arising, we follow through with the right question. Don't miss a beat with our in-depth news analysis. From breaking news, special feature stories, latest news, we bring you the stories that matter. Our team of immersed reporters bring you the news as it happens. Join us every 6 a.m., 12 p.m. and 6 p.m. each day for a comprehensive look at the stories beyond the headlines.
2 to 1.
You're watching ABC News GH.
ABC News GH, your trusted source for news.
Mid-year budget review with some key allocations.
We are currently here at Kamishi.
When the news breaks, we are there. In the heart of matters arising, we follow through with the right question. Don't miss a beat with our in-depth news analysis. From breaking news, special feature stories, latest news, we bring you the stories that matter. Our team of immersed reporters bring you the news as it happens. Join us every 6 a.m., 12 p.m. and 6 p.m. each day for a comprehensive look at the stories beyond the headlines.
Two to 1.
You're watching ABC News GH.
ABC News GH, your trusted source for news.
Million children have benefited from free SHS. Protect free SHS. Vote Dr. Baumia #1 on the ballot.
Welcome to the health segment on ABC in the Morning. I am Eric Mello, and it's time to talk some health matters. Now, today's topic is about the outbreak of cholera in some part of Ghana. Well, according to records, 5 persons so far have died, as well as 30 still battling for their lives due to cholera. In as much as most people find it quite difficult to pronounce the name, some say cholera, others also say that cholera. The truth and fact of the matter is that cholera is indeed a killer disease. In most service cases also, the rapid loss of large amount of fluid and electrolyte can also lead to death within hours. So today our focus actually is on cholera. Now one would ask, what actually is cholera? Now cholera actually is a diarrheal disease caused by a germ. Now, the germ is also found mostly in feces, sorry if you are having a breakfast, and it's also spreads when a person drinks water or eats food that is contaminated with the cholera germ. Now, the cholera germ is commonly spread by contaminated fingers or hands, flies, and of course, water and food which have been contaminated. Cholera transmission is also from, as I said, fecal matter or feces. Pardon me if you're eating once again. No matter the amount of quantity you take in through your mouth, it means that through indigestion of the food balance, you can also contract cholera. Now, contaminated foods can also make you contract cholera, such as milk, cooked rice, beans, eggs, and seafood. A lot of food that we take inside without actually washing it carefully or paying so much attention to it before we consume can also be a factor that can also trigger cholera. Fruit and vegetables, especially those irrigated with waste water, and when contaminated fruit and vegetables are also eaten raw. So those of you who go to the market, you see your apple, you just buy from the what you call the traffic, you just consume it without washing it thoroughly well. You might not know where this produce is coming from. You just take it in and you actually consume it. Now, people are most likely to have severe cholera. These are the people that are at risk of getting cholera. So the disease is now quite, I should say, a very devastating one, especially for the fact that about 30 people here in Ghana are experiencing this disease, and about 5 persons also have, lost their lives. So people with blood type O are likely to actually contract this disease quite easily. So if you're watching and you are blood type O, it means that you actually have to pay attention to your health issue very carefully, most especially with regards to matters related to cholera. So if you know your blood type or your blood group, if you type O, it means that cholera should be your topmost priority to avoid. Then again, chronic medical conditions. If you know you also watching me and you have any chronic medical condition, it means that you also have to take very good care of yourself. Then again, people with achlorhydria, an absence of hydrochloric acid or HCI in the stomach. So this actually is something that also helps fight cholera. Is more like an acid that fights against any infections or bacteria within the stomach. But if you don't have these in your system, it means that you are actually having or at risk of having cholera. Now, symptoms, what can actually prove that you are having or about to experience cholera. So most people exposed to the cholera bacteria don't become ill most often and don't even know that they have been infected. But because they shed cholera bacteria in their stool for 7 to 14 days, they can still infect others through contaminated water. Now, most cases of cholera that cause symptoms can also cause mild or moderate diarrhea that's often hard to even tell part of the diarrhea caused by other problems. Now, the others also develop more serious signs and symptoms of cholera, usually within a few days of infection. So if you're watching me right now and you're about to experience, or perhaps you're experiencing these things I'm about to outline, it means that please go check or visit a doctor as fast as you can, because it can kill you. It really can mess up your life. Okay, so one, if you're experiencing diarrhea, it means that you may be likely of having cholera. So cholera related diarrhea comes on suddenly, and it can quickly cause dangerous fluid loss as much as a quart, about 1 liter of an hour. It means that diarrhea due to cholera often has a pale, milky appearance that resembles like water in such rice, has been also taken into consideration. Now, if you also have been experiencing nausea and vomiting often, it means that you are possibly at risk of getting cholera. So you are there, you're vomiting all of a sudden, you're nauseous, you're feeling very dizzy and all that. go to the hospital. Okay, now dehydration, this is the most commonest, if not the easiest to even identify. Dehydration, most of you don't like to drink water, but dehydration can also develop within hours after cholera symptoms and range from mild to severe occurrences. Now, a loss of about 10% or more of body weight indicates severe dehydration. So if you weigh about a certain plus of size and all of a sudden you feel like you actually have lost weight, you're not seeing your weight very well, you check and it's like you've lost a bit of weight, please go to the hospital with immediate effect, okay, so you can avert contracting any diarrhea, severe diarrhea in the near future. Now let's talk about how to protect yourself from getting cholera. You need to follow these steps, guidelines we're about to share with you. It means you always have to wash your hands with soap and safe running water before eating cooking food or after visiting the toilet. Now this part, most of you don't do it. If you find any food you want to consume, you're in a hurry, you take it and you put it inside your mouth. Most of you also, when you visit the washroom or the gent or the ladies, you just are in a hurry. You don't even wash your hands. You hold the door handle, you open, and you're back to your normal activity without even washing your hands. You're greeting people. You're spreading the virus and the disease as well. Please do wash your hands thoroughly with soap and running water. Then again, you also have to drink safe water. Now, this is where part of the galamsey thing comes in. We are not even sure of the water we're taking in. Most of our waters, unfortunately, have been polluted, but it's also good to drink treated water, so you know that the water you're taking in or consuming cannot get you into a very bad situation of contacting cholera. Now again, you also have to eat hot food and avoid cold food. Hey, most of you wait till the food becomes cold before you actually want to eat. It's not hygienic. Once it's hot, it actually kills most of the bacteria that maybe flies have settled on and all of that. So again, pay attention to that. Then again, let me just end by saying that you also have to wash your fruit and vegetables thoroughly before eating. It's very important. When you buy your apple, please wash it. No, don't be in a hurry to take it, okay? You don't know where these produce or products are coming from. Yes, you're in a hurry. You want to take some fruit from, your traffic. You're exhausted, but please take it easy. Wash it thoroughly well, because right now the cholera outbreak is getting very critical. And maybe in coming days, the health ministry would have to say something about it, but we are trying to do our best to also propagate what exactly this disease can do to you, and you also have to be at the watch out for that. Then again, let me end by saying, especially with ways of preventing, food handlers should also cover food for sale. If you're going out to buy your wachi, your kinke, your whatever, and the food vendor has openly, opened the food, like, yes, we know customers are coming to buy, but when the place you go to buy your food is not hygienic, most of you also like to buy your food, especially your wachi, from the gutters. You feel like, haja mamuni, or what do guys say, like haja mumi wachi or whatever, like, the proper wachi has to be at the gutter. It is not hygienic. Relatively, it is not hygienic. Regardless of how delicious the food or the wachi might taste, it is not hygienic. So please make sure that your food vendor is actually neat, is in a very nice location where you also know that what you're consuming is also very, very good. Now, people acute diarrhea should also start drinking ORS immediately, also to visit the nearest health facility. It's very necessary. So in all, what we're trying to say is that cholera is very, very real, and it can actually occur to you, and you have to really pay attention to your health. You really have to pay attention to your health. It's very sad that 30 people, unfortunately, have been admitted so far, and about 5 people or persons, unfortunately, have lost their life. This should tell you how critical this disease is. Well, this is where we draw the curtain on the health segment. We will be bringing you more updates about this, issue that seems to be given some very sad happenings in some parts of the country, especially in the Kaswa and Ada West, Ada East municipality. Anyways, ABC in the Morning continues right after this. Have a good morning.
5 million children have benefited from free SHS. Protect free SHS. Vote Dr. Baumia number 1 on the ballot.
Over 2017, the NPP inherited a fragmented digital infrastructure that limited public service efficiency. Since then, we've revolutionized how services are delivered with the Ghana card and mobile money interoperability, enhancing speed and accessibility. Our efforts have greatly improved government interactions, making life easier for every Ghanaian. However, our vision doesn't stop here. We aim to further expand and modernize Ghana's digital landscape. The journey towards a fully integrated digital society continues. Stand with us. Vote for innovation. Vote for Baumia. Baumia means business.
In 2017, the NPP inherited an infrastructure network in need of renewal. We've since focused on building modern, resilient infrastructure, expanding roads, railways, and housing through strong partnerships with the private sector. As we enter the next chapter, a revitalized public works department will lead maintenance, with local governments enhancing district roads. We are committed to expanding railways and upgrading airports to connect Ghana for a stronger future. While much has been achieved, there's still more to do. Vote for Baumia. Baumia means business. In 2017, the NPP inherited an infrastructure network in need of renewal. We've since focused on building modern, resilient infrastructure, expanding roads, railways, and housing through strong partnerships with the private sector. As we enter the next chapter, a revitalized public works department will lead maintenance, with local governments enhancing district roads. We are committed to expanding railways and upgrading airports to connect Ghana for a stronger future. While much has been achieved, there's still more to do. Vote for Baumia. Baumia means business. Over the past 8 years, the NPP has significantly improved support for our most vulnerable citizens. From expanding school meal programs, enrolling 300,000 more people in the LEAP initiative, enhancing healthcare for expectant mothers, we've strengthened the fabric of our society. But our work isn't done. We are committed to further enhancing these programs and introducing new initiatives to ensure that every Ghanaian has the opportunity to thrive. Vote for progress. Vote for care. Vote for Baumia. Baumia means business. In 2017, the NPP inherited an infrastructure network in need of renewal. We've since focused on building modern, resilient infrastructure, expanding roads, railways, and housing through strong partnerships with the private sector. As we enter the next chapter, a revitalized public works department will lead maintenance, with local governments enhancing district roads. We are committed to expanding railways and upgrading airports to connect Ghana for a stronger future. While much has been achieved, there's still more to do. Vote for Baumia. Baumia means business. In 2017, the NPP inherited an infrastructure network in need of renewal. We've since focused on building modern, resilient infrastructure, expanding roads, railways, and housing through strong partnerships with the private sector. As we enter the next chapter, a revitalized public works department will lead maintenance, with local governments enhancing district roads. We are committed to expanding railways and upgrading airports to connect Ghana for a stronger future. While much has been achieved, there's still more to do. Vote for Baumia. Baumia means business.
You can advertise your brand or business on ABC News GH Television. Call us on 030-278-8645 or 050-993-0360 to secure your slot.
the morning. Before we head into our various conversations, let's look at what is making the headlines on the newspapers. On the Daily Guide, it says that Nana fires election prophecies. Nana fires election prophecies, and that's on the Daily Guide. On Daily Graphic, BEC grading system unchanged in spite of curriculum change. This is WAEC. BEC grading system on change in spite of curriculum change, and the West Africa Examination Council says on the Crusading Guide, the new Crusading Guide, Nana Addo calls for peace towards December 7 elections. Nana Addo calls for peace towards the December 7 elections. On the Daily Dispatch, in me you will have a brand new tier rubber president, not a second-hand failed president. And Bawumia says this in the bid to become president of the Republic come December 7. If he is elected on January, he becomes president. And he says that if we vote for him, we will have a brand new tier rubber president and not a second-hand failed president. On the Chronicle, STEM education for basic schools. Minister of Education, Dr. Educhum says that he has launched a mega project in Accra, and it is a STEM education for basic schools. Science, technology, engineering, mathematics, all for basic schools. And on the Daily Searchlights, Bawumia to deepen small-scale mining, even as Ghana's water sources face destruction. Bawumia to deepen small-scale mining. And the Anchor is reporting that the NDC boycotts Peace Pact again. The NDC boycotts Peace Pact again, and the Anchor is reporting this on their headline. The Daily Post reports that Global Info Analytics, the poll by them, predicts a one-touch win for Mahama with 33 days to go. So per the Global Info Analytics, on December 7, Mahama will win one touch, and that's what he says. They say. Well, let's look at what is on the various news portals too. But before that, the Graphic Business reports that T-bill rates hit 8-month high. T-bills rate hit 8-month highs. This is good news for those who have put their money into T-bills. Well, we'll see. This is on the African news. It says that U.S. elections. Is Africa better off partnering with China or the U.S.? Today, the Americans go to the poll. Today, tomorrow, we'll be seeing who becomes president of America. Will it be Donald Trump? Will it be Kamala Harris? But the question they're asking is Africa better off partnering with either China or the USA? And on CNN, first UN election day votes cast. They're also reporting the elections in America. And today is the first day of elections, and the votes have been cast. Today, very sure that on most of the news portals around, the elections, the US elections are going to be the news making the headways. Trump looking at another second term after he was voted out. He's looking at coming back again. So let's see how it will pan out for the people of the United States of America. But these are what making the headlines on the various news portals. We've looked at the newspapers, and we've also looked at the portals. On City Newsroom, no individual or organization is above the Constitution, and the Attorney General says. But beyond that, we will be back with more as the day unfolds. But let's get straight into Business Fix. Business Fix segment, a segment where we look at the whole business sector and see how it helps us as a people. Business Fix is up next. At the requirements banks have of us in securing a loan. Before we secure a loan, what does the bank need of us? What are the factors they consider before they even give us loans? Banks in Ghana, per reports by the Bank of Ghana, says that banks in Ghana wrote off 1 billion Ghana cedis in the first half of 2024 in loans. And it says that according to the Bank of Ghana's domestic money bank's income statement, banks wrote off some 1 billion Ghana cedis in bad debt. And this was, however, 39.5% lower than the same period last year. The provision was classified as loan losses, depreciation, and others. And according to the report, the asset quality of the banking industry declined during the period under review. The banking industry's non-performing loans ratio rose to about 24.2% in June 2024 from 18.7% in June 2023. When adjusted for the fully provisioned loan losses category, the industry's non-performing loan ratio still increased to 10.8% in June 2024 from 7.8%. And this reflected increasing stock of all categories of non-performing loans. And the rise in the non-performing loans ratio during the period under review was explained by the higher growth in the non-performing loan stock relative to the growth in total loans. The industry's non-performing loan stock grew by 49.4% to 20.4 billion Ghana cedis in June 2024, up from 13.7 billion Ghana cedis, reflecting a deterioration in both domestic and foreign currency denominated loans in the period under review. And the private sector accounted for the largest share of the non-performing loans, being the largest recipient of the industry's credit. Let's speak with Dr. Richmond Etuahene. He is a banking consultant, looking at the fact that banks had to write off loans to a tune of this higher amount. Are banks even okay with giving loans? Are they happy to give loans to Ghanaians? What are the factors they look at before they give loans to businesses, to contractors, and the like? Dr. Richmond Etuahene is a banking consultant. Good morning, sir. We are grateful for your time this morning.
Good morning. Good morning to your listeners.
Thank you, sir.
Good morning.
We are looking at the factors the banks consider before they give loans. Before we even get into the conversation, from the report we read, in this year alone, we realized that in the first half, banks wrote off some 1.048 billion Ghana cedis in non-performing loans. Isn't this worrying, Doc?
Sorry, the line is breaking. I can't hear you clearly.
Can you hear me now, sir?
Yeah, please, I can hear you.
So we want to look at the factors banks consider before giving loans to Ghanaians. or before giving loans to businesses. But before we even look at the factors, per Bank of Ghana reports, banks in Ghana wrote off some 1.048 billion Ghana cedis of loans in the first half of 2024. Isn't this worrying? Although it says that it is actually a lower trend than last year's, is it something we should be worried about?
Thank you very much, and good morning to everyone who is listening to this program. I mean, it's a worrying trend. The reason being is that I've done a research, and I've also done a research with World Bank teams, realized that non-performing has consistently grown from 14% since 2018 to now about 24 point something percent. It is worrying because, you see, it affects the solvency of the banks. The reason being is that you write it off, as the governor said. When you write it off, what it does is that it reduces your assets and it reduces your solvency. So it's a worrying thing, and it's something that we need to take it serious. And the issue that has brought about these things is that consistently, according to IMF report 24/01, it says that government is owing contractors 35 billion of contractors that have been executed since 2020. And then we have the IPPS, about 2.6 billion. If you convert the dollar by 17 of the 2.6 and add it to the 35, it means that the banks are holding on non-performing close to 70 billion. So it is something that is worrying. But anytime you're talking about stability, you're talking about interest rate sensitivity. If you do research, Ghana banking sector, I want to repeat it, and I'll say it without fear or favor. According to District and Coutts, any country whose non-performing exceeds 10%, that banking sector is in crisis. This is a World Bank report in 1998, of which the governor, even in his own write-up, has quoted it. Ghana has consistently, it has never come down to 10, consistently from 14, as I speak to you, to 24. So the sector is not anything people should be praising themselves and jogging and hugging themselves, because non-performing is what brings banks down.
Non-performing is what brings banks down. Doc, in any case, people still want loans from the banks. The banks are also writing off bad loans. When I walk into a bank, I am a small business, I'm a medium business, I am a large business, and I want a loan. What are the things, the factors the bank will consider before giving me loans?
In the current space, the first thing that banks are facing and customers are facing, higher interest rate. Because we have a higher policy rate of 20-something%, you know, when the banks add a margin of even 2 for risk, it means that you're not going to take your loan less than 30%. And with this economic climate of inflation, currency depreciation, if you take a loan and you're paying 30%, I'm just even giving you a base, and how many people will get 30%? People like me and you can never get any 30%, even consumer loan. We'll be giving you about 35 to 40%. And if we give it to you, the possibility for you to default is very, very high, because you are faced with the microeconomic challenges of higher inflation and the persistent depreciation of the currency. And because of that, when you go to do any work, you will not be able to get returns. Because for every 100 cedis, if I'm giving you a 30%, it means that your gross profit, I'm taking 30% of your gross profit. You haven't talked about your salaries and expenses. So it is very difficult for the customers. So what the banks are basically doing, when you see the profit they've been declaring over the years, over the last 1 year, and they're talking about profit, all that the banks are doing is what we call buying treasury bills. I can conveniently tell you this without fear of it. They are not giving real credit to the credit sector. And the last story that is sad is that, according to World Bank, Ghana is the lowest as far as credit to the private sector, including SMEs. It is the lowest in the sub-region. 8% of our GDP. Compared to Mauritius, 68%. Compared to South Africa, 38%. Compared to even our close neighbor, Ivory Coast, 22%. Compared to Burkina Faso, 31%. We are in the lowest. It means that the real growth of the economy, the private sector, which is supposed to be the engine of growth, are being stifled of credit. And the banks are just buying treasury bills because it is safe, very, very safe. You get a good return, but it doesn't support economic growth of people. If you ask people who are going to the bank to seek credit, these days they are not giving you credit. No. They are only recycling the old credit because they will prefer buying treasury bills because it is safe. You get your interest, you add to your profit, and then you say your bank is doing well. But in terms of the real economic growth and economic recovery, we're not going to recover because government is borrowing at least 4 billion average every week. Multiply 4 billion with 52 weeks. We are talking about 250 billion. And these 250 billion would have been used by the banks to support the economy to give credit. So we are in a serious dichotomy that we need to sit down as a country and assess the health of the financial sector, do a diagnostic study, and see how we can address this crowding out we have. We call it crowding out. Government is basically crowding out the private sector because they will go and take interest of 40%. Government, I prefer giving to government 27%. Yesterday, Treasury bill, I think 29% for 1 year. I will give it 29%, and I'll be able to make money. So the environment is not good for bank giving credit. But when you're going for credit, we assess you your purpose of the amounts, what you're going to do it, what you're going to use it for, your collateral, your fallback position. Basically, we have about 5 of them, Campari. We will look at the Campari, which is the term we use to assess the credit and give you the credit. If you fit into the scheme of what the banks want to support. So we have a basic and fundamental things we assess to give credit.
Yeah, Doctor, so we want to understand those basic things so that we can also better prepare ourselves before we go to the bank. Because it is a sad thing when you have gone and it says you are told that you are not eligible for a loan. And so we want to look at these 5 things that the bank looks out for so that we also prepare ourselves before we go to the bank.
Well, the first thing we will look at is your track record. When we say your track record, have you ever borrowed money and have you been able to pay? The first thing, your track record. If you have a consistent track record that you've borrowed money and you have paid, you have no problem. And then what type of business are you going in? There are certain sectors that we call the social irresponsible lending. There are certain things that we will not lend to you. I.e., if you want to, no bank will give you money to go into Galamsey. No. It is against the ethics and the principles, the sustainable principles of banking. So we look at your business profile, we look at where you're going, and let me caution Ghanaians. These days, when you have a contract with MDAs or government, banks will not properly support you because most of the non-performing is coming from government inability to pay. So the banks are also became very, very critical about financing government business. So you may even have an order to supply to the food to the secondary school. The banks will never possibly do it because they know if we give you money to go and buy the food for the students, for 1 year, you may not be able to pay back. And if you're not able to pay back. So the banks are becoming more selective areas where we think we should go and get our money back. Because it is people deposit. The loans are people deposits, which we convert to loans for people. So if I give you the loan and you don't come, I have to pay the depositor. So we have to be very careful what to do. And what I'm saying is that banks are becoming more critical about where you are going and what you're going to do. And maybe the last one will be your collateral, which is not that very important. But if you have a very good business, which is repayable by the cash flow, collateral becomes secondary matter because perfection of collateral in Ghana is one of the difficult things you can have in this country. It can take you as long as 8 years. You cannot recover. You cannot dispose of the collateral. So banks do not lend because of collateral. They lend because your project is coming with cash flows that will be able to pay.
Thank you so much, Doc. We are grateful for your time. I'm sure in subsequent conversations we can talk more about these non-performing loans and how
I'll be more grateful to talk about the non-performing. I'm ever prepared to speak to you the details because I have done a paper on it from 10 years. I can tell you every sector of the economy where the non-performing seems to be going up.
Thank you, Doc. We are grateful.
Thank you.
Dr. Richmond Ituahene is a banking consultant. We're looking at the requirements bank need from us before they give us a loans, the factors that they consider, and Doc has given us some of these factors. That's all for Business Fix. Let's take a breather. We will be back very soon. You're still watching ABC in the morning. We're heading into our conversation for our main discussion today. But before that, a reminder that the Poll Center is here on ABC News GH. Poll Center is where you come to for all of your credible information regarding the December 7 elections. We'll take you back to previous elections and tie it into this election. On Poll Center, we say vote, not violence. It's your thumb that is needed, and go and vote and come back home and await the EC in their declaration. Don't be a conduit for any violence. Don't allow anybody to incite you to do anything that will go contrary to the peace that the nation is enjoying at the moment. Before, during, and after the elections, endeavor to be a law-abiding citizen. But in our discussion this morning, we're looking at the Peace Pact. and the NDC still stays out of a peace pact amidst the launch of the National Peace Campaign. The National Democratic Congress (NDC) has defended its decision not to sign a proposed peace pact aimed at promoting peaceful conduct among political parties in the upcoming December 7 general elections. The NDC has expressed concerns that the Peace Council, which is leading the initiative, has not created a balanced and inclusive atmosphere conducive to fair engagement among all political parties. While the party's flag bearer, John Dramani Mahama, publicly reaffirmed his commitment to peace at the launch of the NDC's National Peace Campaign, the party believes the Peace Council has not sufficiently engaged with all stakeholders or addressed issues critical to ensuring electoral fairness. This comes at the moment when the Peace Council launched a National Peace Campaign just this Sunday. Most Reverend Matthew Kwesi Jemfi joins us for a conversation on this peace pact. He is the president of the National Catholic Bishops Conference. Most Reverend, good morning.
Good morning.
We are grateful for your time this morning, sir.
Yes, your line is not clear. It's very
faint.
It's very low.
I will do well to project better, sir. Can you hear me?
Slightly better now.
Okay. Sir, is it better now?
Yes, it's better.
It is.
It's better.
Okay. We are grateful for your time this morning.
Okay.
The NDC has decided to still stay out of the Peace Pact even after subscribing to the National Peace Campaign that you launched on Sunday. Is it not contradictory, and does it not undermine the quest of the Peace Council for peace in the elections?
Well, not necessarily.
Yes, sir. Please, did you get the question, or you want me to repeat it?
Please repeat the question.
Okay. So the NDC has still decided to stay out of the Peace Pact, regardless of subscribing to the National Peace Campaign that was launched on Sunday. My question is this not contradictory, and does it also not undermine the quest for peace in this election?
Not necessarily. I don't think so. I don't know why they will prescribe to the peace project and not sign a peace pact. It's just like doing one side of an aspect of the same thing. So I don't think we should look for contradictions here and there. Rather, you should look at activity. Everybody wants peace. And we don't think that anybody, whether by signing a pact or not signing a pact, he is against peace. We should not infer that at all. Because whether they like it or not, everybody likes peace in Ghana now, including the NDC. They may have their own personal reasons why they will not sign a peace pact, but it does not necessarily mean that because they didn't sign it, they are going to advocate violence. Okay. And Ghanaians are not ready for violence of any form, of any shape, or of any color. And nobody will be permitted to cultivate violence or to destroy peace in Ghana again. Nobody. Nobody owns the country. It's not the property of any group of persons. For them to say we permit peace or we do not permit peace. Ghanaians say they want peace. So whether you sign a peace pact or you do not sign it.
Hello, Reverend. Okay, we have lost Reverend who would do well to establish contact with him for the conversation. But he says we shouldn't look at it we shouldn't infer that it is contradictory, that the NDC, although they have come to the table about the peace campaign, are saying they will not sign the pact. We shouldn't infer that it is contradictory in any way. However, he also says he also says that we should understand that nobody can distort or disrupt the peace in the nation. It is peace that we are all looking for, peace that we are all calling for. That is why we are mounting various persons are mounting campaigns about peace, and ultimately the Ghana Peace Council is also mounting a very strong campaign about peace ahead of the elections. We want to make sure that the peaceful Ghana we have enjoyed, the relative peace we have enjoyed over the years, and even in this year, the peace or better that we will enjoy in after the elections. We don't want anything to disrupt the peace we have. Like I said earlier, on ABC News GH, we're bringing you Polls Center, and we're talking about the elections, everything about the elections you need. And it says for that reason why our tagline for Polls Center is votes, not violence. Elections is all about your decision. Everybody has got a decision to make, one decision per person. You go to your polling station, you are given your ballot paper, you thumbprint where you want to vote for, you put it into the container that collects the ballot papers, and then you come home. You put it into the ballot box and you come home, and you await counting and declaration. There's no need for fighting, there's no need for violence, there's no need for inciting violence. And like we say, as we tell ourselves that don't be used as a conduit by anybody to incite violence, we also tell the leaders that also do not say things that will aggravate. Don't say things that will aggravate your supporters. No, when you support somebody, you are emotional about them, you love them so much, and you would even go ahead of them before they have even said something, just to safeguard whatever you are doing as a group. So because people normally will take advantage of the love that supporters have for their parties and all, and then incite certain violence. And this is what we are speaking against on ABC when we say that votes, not violence. And we are having a conversation on the Peace Pact with Most Reverend Matthew Kwesi Gyamfi, who is the president of the National Catholic Bishops Conference. Most Reverend, you are welcome back.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
So you were saying that we shouldn't infer from what the NDC has said in any way that they do not want peace in the elections, and we have understood that. But my next question to you, Most Reverend, is what must be done differently with the National Peace Campaign to ensure that all parties commit fully to this?
Well, peace, if I understand you very well, peace is what all Ghanaians want. And in fact, political parties and politics are supposed to bring and strengthen the peace that we have. It should not be seen, and it should not have the idea that they have the power or the authority to inject violence whatsoever. That should not even be spoken about of political parties at all. And any political party that will wish to promote violence or any such thing is not worth the respect of Ghanaians to vote them into power. And that is one thing they should know. Why should you want to rule a country and want to bring in? So what Ghanaians are doing is actually there's the political parties that should educate Ghanaians more and more that they should seek peace so that they will be able to rule the country better. But Ghanaians are also responding to this message from the political parties that we want peace. So the Peace Pact or the campaign for peace is more and more to bring two people who are already voicing peace, 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 peace. And that is to ensure that there is almost perfect what? Peace. So politics and elections should not be associated with violence at all. They are enemies. Violence and elections should be enemies, properly understood. So what Ghanaians are doing is, hey, political parties, we we understand you, you want peace, and we are here to work with you so that we build a stronger peace, a more perfect peace, so that when any of you is in power, you will have a platform, a nation that is already united, that is peaceful and has set the grounds for further development of the country.
Most Reverend, how can we hold the political parties to account for this peace campaign, especially when similar procedures were taken in the past and we still saw party-led violence in those elections?
Well, you see, if peace is not the political parties, but individuals, people within the political parties who do not understand what elections are about, who caused some of this mayhem. Why should you carry ballot box? Why should you vote 2 times? Why should you do the things that you know very well are supposed to do? So it's not a political, but we Ghanaians as individuals, each one should address himself or herself and ask that question: why do I do something to destroy the peace? Your personal peace first of all, and then the peace of the whole nation. There's a time for introspection. What is the value of it? What do you gain? What are you going to gain from the violence, other than causing violence and destroying the peace of Ghanaians? So this is why this peace campaign that has been launched is more and more to help individuals to educate themselves. So it's a very, very good thing to ask, what do I gain from violence? What does the country gain from violence? What should I gain from fighting? What do we really stand to gain? And who stands up to hurt himself or herself, to destroy the happiness or the peace that you already have? It's irrational. That is the contradiction that we should be talking about, and not the contradiction that somebody didn't sign a peace pact, but he's on board for the peace campaign. Rather, it's the same thing. I don't see any contradiction in that. If he wants this and he doesn't want this, but they are all talking about peace, then they are moving in the same direction. And we should not infer that anybody wants violence. Rather, we should all educate ourselves, use the peace campaign, which also talks about peace, which is not very different from the peace pact. Probably they think there is a duplication of this and that, but it's all towards peace. And we should use the campaign for every individual, every Ghanaian, to cultivate peace and to avoid violence or anything that will hurt us, make us worse. And who likes that? Who wants us to get worse in our present situation, to get worse again? So that is the purpose of the peace campaign, is to educate every individual and every Ghanaian.
Yeah. Most Reverend, beyond this peace pact, the peace campaign, what more should stakeholders be looking out for in driving the campaign to the heights that
come again, I didn't hear you well.
Beyond the conversation on the peace pact, the peace campaign, the launch of it, what more should stakeholders be doing or looking out for in driving the whole conversation to the heights that we are looking at?
Well, this peace takes place at the grassroots, not, let me say, at the national levels like this, but the grassroots, in the villages, in the communities, in the families, in the churches, in the mosques. This is where the action really takes place. So in churches, we'll be talking about it. In mosques, we'll be talking about it. In the communities, in the villages, the chiefs and the people should all be talking about this peace that we all want. In families, husband and wife, children and parents, we should carry this message, and no one person can do it. We are all stakeholders now, because peace is what we all want. And everybody, if every family is talking about peace, the husband will advise the wife will advise the husband to advise their children. Children will encourage their parents to seek for peace. Then in the community, the chiefs should assemble the people, and the town development committee, etc., talk about peace. In the churches, the priests should be talking about peace. In the mosques, we should be talking about peace. Peace should be the word on the mouth of every person, every individual these days. And it is not one person, a stakeholder, who can ensure that. It is the responsibility of all of us. And that is why what we have launched. And that is why we now make everybody a stakeholder. Well, everybody is a stakeholder and should get involved in it. Hello?
Churches and mosques. Let's look. Yes, there are conversations about prophecies when it comes to elections. Various religious leaders, various prophets, everybody has a prophecy about the election. Where one is called.
I don't hear you. Your line is not very clear at all.
Most Reverend, can you hear me now?
Well, go on.
Okay. I was saying that when it comes to the issue of prophecies, where one prophet is calling the election for one candidate, another is also calling the election for another candidate, what role will the peace campaign play in holding, in trying to, for want of a better word, put a hold on prophecies when it comes to the elections? Because you have said the campaign begins from our churches, from our mosques, from our homes. There are people who hold their religious leaders to the highest of standards, so much so that every single thing their leader says is sacrosanct. It is what they follow. So if my prophet is saying that candidate A will win the elections, and another prophet is saying candidate B will win the elections, all of these things tie into happening when now this candidate is winning over the other candidate. How will we find expression of all of these under the peace campaign we are running?
Your line is breaking, it's on and off, so.
Okay, much of I was asking about the prophecies that come up during the elections. The prophecies have been shown to also cause some form of agitation. What will the peace campaign also do in holding some of these prophets accountable, and also maybe asking them to calm down with the declarations they make concerning the elections?
Well, I don't know if I understood your question very clearly, but you are talking about how we can ensure peace on the declaration of the elections. Is that what you're saying?
We are looking at prophecies. You mentioned that the peace campaign begins in our homes, begins in our churches, in our mosques, and different prophets give different prophecies about the elections, and it also brings about certain agitations. How can we eschew all of those?
Well, I think the elections and prophets and prophecies and those things, I will say as a man of God, that is not prophecy. It is not anything that, thank you. It is not anything that God is telling anybody. It is the people themselves who have created and using their brains to imagine this is what is likely to happen. Otherwise, why are prophets prophesying opposite things if it is God who is telling them? That is a clear sign that it is not God who is telling them. They are just using human instinct. And I will say that Ghanaians should ignore those things because they also cause some problems and tend to cause some violence. But this man said that this person is going to win. He's a man of God, and this is what God has said. So why are people saying that it is not true? So these are some of the things that some of the so-called men of God, some of those people who said they are prophets, also do to pour fuel on the coal to make the fire burn even hotter. And those prophets should be very, very careful. All their so-called prophets should be very, very careful what they say and what they do. And I personally don't believe that their prophecies are contradictory prophecies as to who will win or who will not win.
God does not issue contradictory prophecies.
Yeah, God does not contradict himself. Yes.
Yes. Most Reverend, this peace campaign that has been launched, what are some of the things we'll be seeing as part of the campaigns in bringing our minds to the elections and the peace that we must enjoy?
Please come again.
The campaign that has been launched. What are some of the activities that we should be looking out for from the Peace Council?
Yeah, as I said, the campaign is launched, and it is launched for the various sectors of the community that have already enlisted. We should not sit down and say that the campaign has been launched, and it's these people who are coming to teach us about peace and about this. We all know it. We know what they are talking about. We should take the bull by the horn and educate ourselves. They just mention these things for all Ghanaians in the families and everywhere to be sitting down and then to be reflecting on it. So the lunch is to tell all Ghanaians, wherever you are, please work for peace, discuss peace, avoid violence, look at the things that bring in violence, avoid them. So we should not sit down for people to be coming to bring series of activities and this thing. Already they are going on in different forms, on the radio, on the news, on this, in the church, in the mosque, and these things. But this is just to make it higher, to draw the attention, to give a focus to the peace campaign.
Okay. We are grateful for your time this morning, Most
Thank
Reverend.
you,
Most Reverend Matthew Kwesi James. He is the president for the National Catholic Bishops' Conference. Peace campaign has been launched, and like Most Reverend says, the peace starts from your homes, from your churches, from your mosques, from your small places. If you understand that your peace is important and the peace of the nation is most important, you will guard it and guard it jealously. You won't allow yourselves to be used as a conduit to perpetuate any form of violence, and we will eschew violence so that the election is held like a normal day. We'll go to the polls, we'll cast our votes and come back home, wait for declaration and go on with our day. Peace is most important, and that's the conversation we've had. Moving on to our next conversation this morning, we're looking at assessing the rise in robbery attacks. The rise in robbery attacks, and this morning we focus on a growing concern that's gripping the nation, and which is the insecurity on the rise. Reports indicate that urban regions like the Greater Accra and the Ashanti region see high crime rates. The Greater Accra and the Ashanti region see high crime rates, and it attributes to the dense population and significant economic activities. These robberies often target corruption, and some challenges such as corruption allegations have also hindered the resolution of some cases. Recent incidents have left many wondering if safety can be guaranteed, especially as we head into the elections. The latest incident occurred in broad daylight at Adabraka, where armed robbers stormed the business, leaving a trail of fear and destruction. Eyewitnesses described the scene as chaotic, with bystanders running for cover. The perpetrators made off with valuables, leaving business owners and residents shaking. And this incident is just one of many reported cases of robbery, burglary, and assaults in recent weeks. The question on everyone's mind: what's behind the surge in crime. And to find out, we'll be having conversations to understand some of these things and see how best we can structure ourselves. Broad daylight, armed robbery, gunshots into the air, quite worrying, quite scary. We'll be joined by Richard Kumado, a security analyst, for conversations on this. Good morning, Richard. Well, we're still getting in touch with Richard, but we want to find out all of these increase in armed cases, in robbery attacks, destabilizing the peace that we have. Ghanaians brandishing guns, armed robbers brandishing guns here and there in broad daylight, not bothered about how they could be affected, how anybody could be affected. Quite worrying, quite stressing. So we'll speak with Richard Kumado and the conversation on this. Good morning, Richard. Thank you for joining us.
Morning, Abina.
Richard, what can the primary factors contributing to the recent surge in crime rates be addressed in our country? How can we address...
Abina, you ran very fast. I didn't hear. Sorry.
Okay, I'll take it slowly now. How can the primary factors contributing to the recent surge...
How can which factors?
The primary factors.
Oh, okay.
Contributing to the recent surge in crime rates be addressed in the country.
So normally, when it comes to crime, we have a pull and push factors. One of them could be survivability. The other one is to maintain the status quo. The third one could be peer pressure. But the fourth one, which is predominantly what drives some of these things, is a deviant behavior. So if you want to deal with crime and deal with it precisely, then the police have a duty and a responsibility not just to arrest people, but to prosecute them, to serve as deterrents. And not just to prosecute them, but to engage in what? Public education. Once people are aware of the danger of committing certain types of crimes, then they will be informed and they will refrain from it. But one of the typical crimes that has been a major issue for us for many years is armed robbery, because of the nature of that particular crime and how evasive they have become and the capacity the robbers have to take on the police. So they match up with the police, and that particular crime has a predominance over the years. Do we want to stop it? Yes. How? We need to build capacity as well. Anytime you watch the public place and you see police officers aggressively in activities in a public place, criminals will hide. But anytime the criminals realize that the police have become lackadaisical or they've gone into hiding, the criminals will dominate the public space. With the increase in crime you are seeing, it means that the criminals are dominating the public space, and the police will definitely fight back. And that fight is going to be a fight that the criminals will have to be ready for it.
In recent times, we've seen increased police visibility in our various neighborhoods, on highways, at very vantage points. What will cause some robbers to be this bold to conduct such an attack in broad daylight?
They do the assessment and they weigh the capacity of the police, and they also look at the readiness of the police, because every criminal believes that they operate in darkness and nobody can see them. Until they are arrested and publicly prosecuted, they always believe that they are invasive. So you may have police people, but they can outwit them. One, they can create a scenario and make the police people busy. Number three, they can look at the inefficiency of the police, or even in terms of weaponry, whether the police can match you with them. And that is why, even though you have police visibility, crime will still go up. That is also to say that it is the police that determines where to send people and where not to send people. But when you have a place which has been classified as high intensity crime area, which means that police operations and police visibilities and police supervisory roles in those areas will have to be intensified. So it's a battle the police must fight to win. Other than that, they have a long way to go and they have a huge battle on their hands.
What will account for the arms that are in the hands of the ordinary Ghanaian? One would think...
National Commission do not have a budget. They don't have the capacity to rescue the arms in the general space. They have said, I think, last year or two, that there are about 40 million unregistered arms in the system. Remember, there are some individuals whose legal business is to import arms into this country. Probably as a nation, we will need to look at the registration regime and ensure that there is high levels of due diligence. Then arms registration and renewal with the police will also have to be looked at it again. Coupled with the fact that politicians bring arms and they outweigh the customs officers and they dump them into the system. So these are the three things that is influencing the arms. You can add the fourth one, that because of the fights in the Sahel region, most of them are coming down. And when they come down, they will either buy a gun or leave their own behind and collect some few coins into their pockets.
Well, when we are looking at this conversation, how can individuals and businesses, how can they protect themselves from becoming targets or victims of robbery and assaults like what happened in Adamawa?
Number one, your security is your safety. And how safe you are will depend on how secure you are. I've always been telling people, one of the ways of doing it, do not carry large sums of money at the boot of your car. Number two, keep your mouth shut on many of the personal things you do that are related to money. And number three, due diligence is always important, because that is your insurance and that is whatever you need to survive, particularly in a competitive environment or in a high risk area where crime is predominantly on a daily basis. Until you are able to do this one, and make sure you have the police at your back, you can call any day, anytime your back is against the wall, you are likely to become victims. Most people have become victims because, one, they are naive, two, they are greed, three, curiosity, and number four, they are coerced or compromised to either become the perpetrator of the crime, a victim, or both at the same time. Because the state is the one that controls the security apparatus, it's also important that the state will look out for citizens' welfare, which includes making sure that public safety guarantees are kept and security awareness is created and victims are rescued and crime perpetrators are prosecuted. Until we are able to do this last four, we are going to be creating vulnerabilities in the system, and that people can be exploited at the least instant. One thing that must also come to mind is where you live and how the place is designed. That will determine the nature of crime that can be committed there.
Richard, the police have a unit called the Community Police. How will you describe the effectiveness of community policing in reducing crimes in our communities?
And to the extent that crime is on the increase, it means that their effectiveness has been called to book. To the extent that they are not prosecuting crime, it means that the Crime Investigation Bureau or the prosecution arm of the Ghana Police Service will have to wake up again. To the extent that victims are not getting help, it means that as a nation you need to look at your welfare system again and look at your justice system. There's always a relationship between crime prevention and the justice system. How effective has your justice system been when it comes to crime investigations and crime prevention, and predominantly crime prosecution? The justice system is where nobody is taking their eyes to, but that is a key stakeholder when it comes to crime prevention, crime commission, and crime prosecution. And I have always been of the view that let's establish Justice Crime Bureau in this country that will benchmark the effectiveness of frontline crime fighters and frontline crime prosecution and the justice system and the role the justice system has played in whether to in line with achieving compliance or otherwise. If we are able to do that, then we always look at the lines and see whether on quarterly basis or mid-yearly to see where we are falling short so that we can do something about it.
In looking at where we have fallen short, are there any gaps in the current law enforcement strategies, or are there resources that need to be prioritized in combating these rising
Definitely it's the police who have to determine that. But for we as onlookers, we are saying that crime is on the increase and we are not getting help. For some of us who have security intelligence background, then we can say that either the intelligence is provided and people refuse or fail to act, or they have been negligent, or they have been complacent, or they have been part of the crime themselves. So that is what it is.
What measures can government take to effectively tackle the root cause of crime and the issues of unemployment, economic hardship, and all?
Jobs for the people. Unemployment is one thing. Government provide jobs for the people, strengthen the police, and make sure your justice system is working to guarantee safety. And if we do these three and they work in a synchronized manner, we'll be fine.
We'll be fine. Richard, one of the things that we want to find out, we are entering into the elections. All of these things also add to the instability as we enter the elections. It gives people a certain false sense of invincibility that I can do anything. How should the police beef up and show Ghanaians that we are large and in charge? We can do the work.
No, when it comes to election, they have the election security task force. An election is a specific assignment.
No,
it's a national assignment.
Yes, I want to say that my question is about how the police can position themselves strategically to give Ghanaians the understanding that indeed we are in charge. Although we are in this period and it is a volatile period, some of these actions from unscrupulous people are adding credence to the volatility of the period. How can the police generally position themselves to show Ghanaians
that's what I was saying, that when it comes to elections, it's a specific assignment and it's a national assignment. So they treat it as a project. While they keep their eyes on the generality of the areas that poses high levels of crime. And these crimes could be general or specific. But when it comes to election-related insecurity matters, they treat them as a whole. And they treat the election as a special task, and that is why they created the task force for it.
Okay. Well, we want to also look at Ghanaians and how we view certain things. In the Adabraka issue, when the robbers were shooting into the air, we saw that although others were running for cover, there were others who were still standing. Is it that our flight or fight instincts are not there, or it is inquisitivity that...
No, it took them by surprise.
Okay.
And before you run, you have to watch where the gunfire is coming from. Otherwise, you could find yourself in crossfire. So running could create problems for you when you have not determined where the shooting is coming from and the speed of the bullet and the direction of the bullet. The best advice you give to people as a basic rule is to go to the ground. Just lie flat on the ground. Don't touch your phone. You could be mistaken by saying you want to call the police and they'll put a bullet in your head. But in the case of the Adabraka one, it took people by surprise, so they saw it to be a normal thing. The aftermath trauma is where the issue is. Do families have the resources to engage private psychology? Would the state make psychological treatment available for the victims? I don't think we are doing well in that area. And what is the readiness of the state in dealing with such issues? Is back to public education.
Okay. We are grateful for your time this morning, Richard.
Thank you. Thank you.
Richard Kumado is a security analyst, and our conversation assessing all of these in Ghana, the crime that we are seeing, all of the issues when it comes to crime, to stability, to the rise in attacks. Adabakers is the latest we saw. Broad daylight, armed robbery, and everybody who saw the video was quite surprised that this happened in broad daylight shooting. We've had issues of bullion vans that had been intercepted, and then some of the security enforcement, the security personnel had died because of robbery attacks on them. I want to give you the opportunity to speak to us on this matter. Call us on 053-916-1609, 053-916-1609. Call us, let us know how the security in your neighborhood is. You own a business. How are you taking care of yourself? What time do you close? Have you been forced to close earlier than you would have closed on a normal because you don't feel safe in your neighborhood? Is the police visibility in your neighborhood a very visible one, or you see the police once in a while? When you are faced with an issue and you call the police, do they respond in a timely manner? Call us 053-916-1609, 053-916-1609. How have you been protecting yourselves? If you close, if on a normal you'd have closed at 7 p.m., are you now closing at 4 p.m.? Are you going home by a certain means of transport because you can't trust some other? Hello, good morning. Your name and where you're calling from. Please, when you call, kindly turn down the volume of your TV set. Hello, your name and where you're calling from.
Okay, hello. Is it okay?
Yes, what's your name, sir?
Yeah, my name is Takre. I'm calling from Achimota Christian Village.
Okay, Patrick. Are you how is the security situation in your neighborhood? Are you affected in any way? And what work do you do?
Yeah, the neighborhood is not safe. The neighborhood.
Hello, Patrick. We've lost Patrick. Call us on 053-916-1609. He says he lives at Achimota Christian Village. His neighborhood is not safe. Is that same for you? Is it same for you? Is your neighborhood safe or not? Is the police presence there? Is the police presence there a presence you see? Is it tangible, or you just see them once a while? What business do you run, and have you been forced to close earlier than you would have closed? And have you been also forced to open later than you would have opened because of the presence of some unscrupulous persons who may harm you? How is the police presence in your neighborhood? How safe is your neighborhood? How have you been affected by certain things? Call us on 053-916-1609. We would like to hear from you. 053-916-1609. When it's 8 p.m., are your family members worried about where you are? Do your family members have to come and meet you? Hello, good morning. Your name and where you're calling from?
My name is Daniel.
Hello, Daniel. Where are you calling from? Where are you calling from, Daniel?
I'm calling from Dominic Presby.
Dominic Presby. Daniel, do you live in a safe neighborhood?
You said?
Do you live in a safe neighborhood?
No, I was asking, is it this early in the morning or yesterday?
Come again, Daniel.
You said?
Well, you can call us on 053-916-1609. When you call, kindly turn down the volume of your TV set or turn it off so that you can hear us. If you try to listen to yourself from the TV, you would lag, and then you may be disoriented with the conversation. But call us on 053-916-1609. Let us know where you live. Is your neighborhood a safe neighborhood? Where you work, is it safe? Hello, Your name and where you are calling from. Good morning. Your name and where you are calling from. Call us on 053-916-1609. Do you own a business? Have you had to close earlier than your normal closing time, or have you had to open later than your normal opening time because you want the neighborhood to be so safe before you come to your shop? What are the security measures you've put so that you can ward off certain unscrupulous persons at a certain time of the night or even the day? Do you have to walk in pairs or in groups of 4 and 5 just to be safe? Are your family bothered anytime you are out beyond a certain time because of how unsafe your neighborhood is? Is the police presence a loud one in your neighborhood? When you need a police, do they come early? Hello, your name and where you're calling from?
Yes, hello, please. My name is Tackle. The name is Tackle. That's Tackle.
Okay. Tackle, where are you calling from?
From Christian Village. I just called earlier.
Okay. And the question is, are you in a safe neighborhood?
No, the neighborhood is not safe. Even they themselves, the officers, they are afraid.
Why are they afraid? What happens in the neighborhood?
All sorts of things. Even you might see something happening, a patrol car will be patrolling, never mind, you will be pursuing a thief. Unless you go and lodge a complaint. So, I don't know the kind of police force that they recruit or how kind of training they go through.
When you lodge a complaint, how responsive are they to addressing the complaint?
Nothing happens. It's like we are in a jungle. The fittest survive.
At Christian Village.
That's why they get guns. If it's not guns, can they take such monies away? You are in the jungle. The fittest survive. If you are strong, you can survive.
What can the police do better for Christian Village? You just mentioned that you are in a jungle. What can be done better for you there to make it a peaceful place?
It's like the lions, they chew the small animals. Like in the jungle, no rule, no law.
So the police should become the lion.
That's what happens in the jungle. The fittest animals survive.
Okay. Tackle, thank you for your time this morning.
Oh, thank you.
053-916-1609. You can call us and also tell us how it is in your neighborhood and how are you surviving if you're a business owner because of in order to be safe. What are the security measures you have put in place to be safe? What are those security measures? You can let us know on 053-916-1609. Well, in subsequent conversations, we'll open the phone line again for you so that you can have your say on ABC in the morning. Well, we have a last caller. Let me pick this last caller and then we will move on. Hello, good morning. Your name and where you are calling from?
Good morning. My name is Lat, calling from Pristia.
Calling from Pristia. How is
Western region.
Okay, thank you for calling. How is the security like in where you live?
Let me say good morning to our cherished viewers. And then for Pristia, it's very, very bad. I don't know of other areas. But for what is happening in Pristia, I know the same thing is happening everywhere in Ghana. There was this armed robbery attack on someone in the house. The person was able to get his phone to call the police. The police told him that no, they can't come there because they themselves, they are afraid. So he should take video or pictures. Then the following day, he will bring them to the police station so that they will go and make an arrest. So for Prisia and its environs, we have a very challenge. But some of the policemen, I know they are doing very well. They are doing better. But in all, we still have challenges.
Okay. Thank you for calling.
You're welcome.
So that's it for our conversation on safety, the police presence, the increased rate of armed robbery in the country. We'll do more on this topic so that we can also finally understand things better. And we're hoping that the nation will be a safer place for all of us. The police will continue to up their game to make our country a safer place. That's all for our main discussion. Let's take a breather. We will be back with our next conversations.
key allocation.
We are currently here at Kanishi.
When the news breaks, we are there. In the heart of matters arising, we follow through with the right question. Don't miss a beat with our in-depth news analysis. From breaking news, special feature stories, latest news, we bring you the stories that matter. Our team of immersed reporters bring you the news as it happens. Join us every 6 a.m., 12 p.m. and 6 p.m. each day for a comprehensive look at the stories beyond the headlines.
Two to one.
You're watching ABC News GH.
ABC News GH, your trusted source for news.
Mid-year budget review with some key allocations.
We are currently here at Kanishi.
When the news breaks, we are there. In the heart of matters arising, we follow through with the right question. Don't miss a beat with our in-depth news analysis. From breaking news, special feature stories, latest news, we bring you the stories that matter. Our team of immersed reporters bring you the news as it happens. Join us every 6 a.m., 12 p.m. and 6 p.m. each day for a comprehensive look at the stories beyond the headlines.
Company Limited. We're producing 300 tons of industrial starch daily from 1,200 tons of fresh cassava.
We will say you any amat trata etimi ba ikurum ho amantin men.
You for staying with us. You're still watching ABC in the morning live on ABC News GH. Our YouTube channel is ABC News GH. It is a channel you should subscribe to because everything we carry on ABC News GH will carry it live there too. Interact and connect with us via our socials. Our socials handle are at ABC News GH _ and our website www.abcnewsgh. On ABC News GH, we also bringing you the Poll Center. On the Poll Center, we say votes, not violence. Votes, not violence. Up next is Politics Today. Stay with us. On Politics Today, what we've been waiting for from the Ghana Freedom Party, they have finally given to Ghanaians, and they have settled on the running mate to the late Madam Akua Donkor on being the new presidential candidate for the Ghana Freedom Party. And the Ghana Freedom Party GFP has named Philip Kwabena Agyeman, popularly known as Roman Father, to replace Akua Donkor as their new flag bearer. The decision to announce Roman Father as the flag bearer is in line with the wishes of the political party's former leader, Akua Donkor. Announcing their decision to choose Roman Father, the party said, "We have decided to go according to the dying wish of our late flag bearer, who said Roman Father should take over from her in case she died." They, however, did not mention who would be his running mate for the 2024 elections. It will be remembered that the Electoral Commission, in a statement announcing the death of Akua Donkor, gave her political party 10 days to provide them with a replacement. The decision to provide them with a number of days to provide a replacement was because the Constitution hasn't provided a clear-cut template on how to deal with the death of a flag bearer days before the elections. Now, given this, it means the Electoral Commission would have to print new presidential ballot papers with the new GFP's presidential candidates and trash those with the late Akua Donkor, which was the initial representation of the Ghana Freedom Party. We would in subsequent conversations speak with reps from the Ghana Freedom Party to get more understanding following their new flag bearer, and also to know who would be the vice presidential candidate to Roman Father. Again, we will go to the EC in subsequent conversations to find out when the new presidential ballot papers will be printed. The conversation about this is quite novel because this has not happened before, that a flag bearer for any political party or a presidential candidate has died days before the elections. So it is new. We know that in the coming days, more will be done on this so that we can have proper understanding on what to do. There will be laid down factors on what to do in the event of a death of a presidential candidate. Madam Akua Donkor is the first to have happened, and so it gives a chart. It charts the road to follow to know what to do in the event that an unfortunate incident like this happens in the future. The GFP announced Roman Father as the new presidential candidate. Let's listen to when they did their announcement.
Masina buta me pinti ni titi ana se enekwe inani DC and then now ofi enumerate P and I mami excellency Akua Donkor nyame to safre no bi obi nyame enfa ne kra NCA na se 99 say 2024 7 district about way and I am born to them and only ho ema so for RCI say only man na corridor no be answering so no and I say o see my name is more here obi be out here AMB I think I'm morning drive 104.7 FM it's your co-pantiano pay. This are not yet and I'm here. Not very much Ghana Freedom Party.
Okay.
So yes, you just heard from the GFP. The GFP has announced Roman Father as the new presidential candidate following the death of Madam Akua Donkor. That's all for politics today on ABC in the morning. Let's take a break.
Processing Company Limited. We're producing 300 tons of industrial starch daily from 1,200 tons of fresh cassava.
Me who say nyadwani amat tractor etimi aba yekurom ho amantin mansim bi say tractor si we say behu ho no nyadwa no enti bra na ba ko efre me say ye pese do bankyefoɔ no mede me nsa nyinaa so mu enya gidie mbehu ha sɛ adwuma no ayɛkɔ so no nti mede masase nyinaa bɛyɛ 18 acres ɛde dua bankye no wɔn ma di kan ba mu ne deɛ aboa wɔn paa sɛ ntina mehu sɛ akokoa ɛne amante adwuma no aboa wɔn ntina me so mefɔ so sɛ fasa wachi ɛne afɛfɛ so ɔno nso so mefɔ so sɛ pɔso obetumi ayɛ dɛn aboayɛ
na bankye adwuma no baa he banyimfo ba ma tie na minisɛm wayɛ nti me de me ho kɔdɔn bankye kuo no sɛ bankye ne die matim na minim sɛ nyame din mu nti bɛyɛ
nana do one district petre no ɔde aba no oso yɛ nsa yie paa obi amfa ne nsa nsom yie
ɔma mpanyini one district aboa me paa.
Importance, which is the New Patriotic Party's manifesto on governance and jobs. This is a unique opportunity for
Amantin Agro Processing Company Limited. We're producing 300 tons of industrial starch daily from 1,200 tons of fresh cassava.
Me hu sɛ nyado ani ama tractor etimi aba ekurom ho amantin mansim bi sɛ tractor si we sɛ behu ɛhɔ no nyado ano nti bra na baako ɛfrɛ me sɛ yɛpɛ sɛ yɛdɔ bankyefoɔ no mede me nsa nyinaa so mu enya gidie mbehu ha sɛ adwuma no ayɛkɔ so no nti mede masase nyinaa bɛyɛ 18 acres ɛde dua bankye no wɔn ma di kan ba mu ne deɛ aboa wɔn paa sɛ ntina mehu sɛ akokoa ɛne amante adwuma no aboa wɔn ntina me so mefɔ so sɛ fasa wachi ɛne afɛfɛ so ɔno nso so mefɔ so sɛ pɔso obetumi ayɛ dɛn aboayɛ
na bankye adwuma no baa he banyimfo ba ma tie na minisɛm wayɛ nti me de me ho kɔdɔn bankye kuo no sɛ bankye ne die matim na minim sɛ nyame din mu nti bɛyɛ
nana do one district petre no ɔde aba no oso yɛ nsa yie paa obi amfa ne nsa nsom yie
ɔma mpanyini one district aboa me paa.
Thank you for staying with us. You're still watching ABC in the morning. I want to give you the opportunity to tell us what will be informing your decision to vote come December 7. On Ghana Speaks, your voice matters. It's your voice alone we want to hear. There have been various reports that have determined how Ghanaians will be voting, but it is yours that we want to hear on Ghana Speaks. Ghana Speaks is up next.
Times are hard in Ghana, extremely hard.
As we gear towards the 2024 general elections, there have been conversations around having a presidential debate. Will it happen or not? This is Ghana Speaks.
On Ghana Speaks, it says your voice and your voice alone we want to hear. Call us on 053-916-1609. Tell us what will inform your vote on December 7. Various people and various organizations have conducted polls, have asked Ghanaians what will be informing their decision to vote. Some said they'll be voting along economic lines. Others have raise various factors that will inform their decision. Someone is going to the polls because of free SHS. Another is going to the polls because of 24-hour economy. Tell us what you, as a Ghanaian, as Kweku, as Ama, as Abna, as Ya, as Yao, as Kofi, as Kwame, will be voting. What will inform your decision to vote? We really want to hear from you. We want to know why you'll be voting. Why you will be voting. Call us on 053-916-1609, 053-916-1609, and tell us why you will be voting. Maybe you are voting because the person on that ballot paper is a friend's father, a friend's mother in your constituency, and that friend was a good friend of yours, and that is your reason for voting. For you, it was because of a certain bridge that was constructed. For another, it is because of the Ghana card. For another, 24-hour economy. For another person, your church was building an edifice, and a certain candidate came to support, and that is the reason why you are voting. Very, very varying reasons why people go to the polls. So tell us. And before you call us, please turn down the volume of your set. Hello, good morning, your name and where you're calling from. Which constituency are you calling from?
I'm calling from Ashama constituency.
What's
My
your
name is Eric Gaza.
Eric. Okay. Eric, why will you be voting on December 7?
I'm voting on December 7 because of digitization.
Okay.
And number one is going. Number one is going. I'm going to, because the word, everything has changed. Not Banku and Akukon Kitchen Bio.
Okay, Gaza. Thank you for your call.
Thank you too.
Okay. Gaza says that he'll be voting because of digitalization. He says the world is changing. So for him, number one is going. Also tell us how and why you'll be voting on December 7. What is that factor why you will be voting? 053-916-1609. 053-916-1609. Hello, your name and where you're calling from?
I'm calling from my name is Bobia.
Your name is?
Bobia.
Yeah. Will you be voting on December 7?
Yes, I will be voting.
Why will you be voting?
Because of the one who has solution to us, to the youth, digitalization.
And that is what will inform your votes, the solutions for the youth?
Yes, number one, yes.
Okay, so you are also voting for number one?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Bobia.
You're most welcome.
So what will inform your vote on December 7? Tell us what will inform your vote on December 7. Call us on 053-916-1609. When you call, please lower the volume of your TV set. Tell us your name and which constituency you are calling from. 053-916-1609. 053-916-1609. We're looking forward to hearing from you. What will inform your vote? What will inform your vote on December 7? What will inform your vote come December 7? Are you going to vote on policies? Are you voting on which grounds? On which grounds are you voting? We're looking forward to hearing from you. So call us on 053-916-1609. 053-916-1609. We want to hear from you. Our first two callers. The first caller says he's voting on digitalization. The second caller says he's voting for the one who has the solutions for the youth. And those are the reasons for which they are going. Hello, your name and where you are calling from?
My name is Ishmael, calling from Tempane District, Upper East.
Okay. Ishmael, will you be voting on December 7?
I wish to do so, but I have a little problem. I have to solve it before the election. And if I don't travel to solve that issue too, it will affect me.
What problem
so
is that,
Ishmael? I don't think I'll be taking part. I'm owing a group which I need to pay.
You are owing in a group. How does that affect your vote?
I have to travel and get money to pay it back. And they needed the money before the end of December.
Ishmael, I don't understand your reason.
What I mean is that I took a loan from a group in which they also need the money by the end of December.
So you need a politician to pay that loan so that you can go and vote.
They will not even pay for me.
Ishmael.
They will not. So I have to find me the ways to settle my own. So I don't think I'll be partaking in the vote.
You don't think you'll be partaking in the vote this year?
Yes, please.
Okay, so that's your reason for not voting, because you owe a group.
Yes.
Thank you, Ishmael.
You're welcome.
We are grateful. Ishmael says that he will have to go and vote, but because he owes a group, he can't go and vote. Call us on 053-916-1609. Tell us what will inform your vote on December 7. What will inform your vote on December 7? 053-916-1609. Some of you are calling. Unfortunately, when we pick your calls, it drops. Pardon us for that, but please call back again. Hello, your name and where you are calling from?
Moses. I'm calling from Yendi.
Moses from Yendi.
Yes.
Moses, will you be voting?
Yes, the Lord will have a voting.
What will inform your vote?
What will inform my vote will be the hardship in the system.
Okay.
People are suffering, actually suffering.
Okay. Would you want to tell us which number you'll be voting for?
I wouldn't, but for number one, it's just out. I will never vote for number one because I don't wash my face upwards. I will never do that.
Okay.
I'm somebody who is destined for heaven, so I will do things that are based or that is backed by God. I'm not things I will never do something that is backed by the devil. So I will not vote for number one, to be frank.
Okay. You say that you are voting because of hardship. Which specific hardships?
You can think of any hardship. I live in the north, but to feed becomes a problem. Where we have food in those days, we could just take 5 cedis. Even today, even 10 cedis, we can use it for porridge. And you have number of children. What about those who are working? What about those who don't work? How do you expect them to? That's why there's so much what's the name, killing and destruction in the country now, because people can feed.
Okay.
Tell all kind of lies, do all kind of things just to feed them. We shouldn't be that way.
Well, we are grateful for your time this morning. Thank you for calling.
Thank you.
You can also call us on 053-916-1609. Hello, your name and where you are calling from?
Please, I'm calling from Tumum, Upper West region.
Okay. What's your name?
My name is Paul Bawin Abraham.
Abraham, will you be voting on December 7?
Yeah, actually, I'll be voting on December 7.
What will inform your vote?
Yeah, before I vote, I'll look at the hardship in the country or in Upper West. And the people who care for us, I'm going to vote number 8. I will never vote for number 1.
Okay. Thank you, Abraham.
And looking at it, our roads too are very bad. When we are from Tumum coming to from Wa coming to Tumum, our roads are very bad. So I will never vote for number 1.
Okay, thank you, Abraham.
I will never vote for Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia.
Thank you, Abraham. We're grateful for your time. You can also call us 053-916-1609. Your name and where you're calling from?
I'm called Sadiq. I'm calling from Upper West region. What Central?
What Central? Will you be voting on December 7?
Yes, I'll vote and vote and vote again.
What will inform your vote?
I'll vote number 1. In the ballot, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia.
What will inform your voting for number 1?
Why I should vote for number 1?
Yes.
Because of free senior high.
Okay.
Protected.
Okay. You are voting to protect free senior high school.
Because of free senior high school.
Okay.
I'll vote for Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia to defend it.
Okay. Thank you.
He is the one having the policies to
Thank
you.
Thank you. Let's take another caller. Hello, your name and where you're calling from. Okay, we've lost the caller. Hello, your name and where you are calling from.
This is Abdullah from Savlugu.
Abdullah from Savlugu. Okay, yes, Abdullah, will you be voting on December 7?
Yes, please.
What will inform your vote on December 7?
Jobs. We need jobs. We need the youth. We need jobs.
Okay.
We need jobs.
All right.
So the current government should do well to employ the NAPO trainees permanently. So we need jobs.
All right. Thank you, Abdullah. Well, let's take a last caller and then we will be done with Ghana Speaks. Okay, we'll take 2 callers. Hello, your name and where you are calling from.
Good morning.
Yes, what's your name and where you are calling from?
My name is Ibrahim Sako, calling from Savannah region.
Okay, Ibrahim, will you be voting on November 7?
By grace.
You will? Okay. And what will inform your vote?
What will inform my vote, I already informed it. The current government, to me, is doing well. The free HSS, the drip, machines they brought to our communities, every district. That is what I'm looking up to.
Okay. Thank you for calling this morning.
You're welcome.
So he's also voting because of free SHS. Hello, your name and where you are calling from? Hello?
My name is Letis. I'm calling from Upper West.
I can hardly hear you, sir. Please speak up. Hello, your name and where you are calling from?
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm Sadiq, calling from Otiraj in Kajabi district.
Okay, Sadiq from KJB. Sadiq, will you be voting on December 7?
I'm voting massive.
Okay. What will inform your vote?
Agenda 111.
Okay.
And you know, we are proud of Bawumia, inshallah.
Okay. Sadiq, thank you for calling.
You're welcome.
Let me take my last caller. Hello, your name and where you are calling from?
I'm not proud of you.
Hello, your name and where you are calling from?
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from?
I think I fell it.
What's your name, sir?
I think I fell it.
Okay, Atinga, where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Savannah region.
Atinga, will you vote on December 7?
Yes, I'll vote that one there. There's no doubt about it.
What will inform your vote?
24/7 economy.
Okay. Atinga.
Yes, we the youth, we need jobs. And the current government, things are really hard. This morning, I even told to take them to this house. You know, you can get to them and eat.
Well, thank you, Atinga. Thank you for calling.
Okay, you're welcome.
Atinga is voting because of the 24-hour economy. He will be voting on December 7. Thank you for calling us on Ghana Speaks. We wanted to hear your voice, and you have spoken. We have heard your voice. Some of you will be voting on December 7. Some say they won't be voting, but we've understood where your votes will be coming from because of certain policies. That's all for Ghana Speaks. Let's head straight into Happy Hour. happy hour, we give you the opportunity to wish your friends, your loved ones a happy birthday and wish them well. Get in touch with us on 053-916-1609 so that we wish them on your behalf. They would be glad to hear from you when they are celebrating that milestone. We have a few wishes on happy hour. Let's get right into them. Happy birthday to Stephanie from your work colleagues. Wishing you a fantastic day filled with joy, laughter, and a bit of well-deserved relaxation. Your hard work and positive energy make every day better for all of us, and we are lucky to have you on the team. Here's to a wonderful year ahead, full of success, growth, and all the good things you deserve. So happy birthday, Stephanie. This is coming from your work colleagues. And this happy birthday, Mrs. Apia, from your best friends and BOB. I hope today brings you as much happiness as you bring to everyone around you. You are more than a friend. You are a true gift in my life. Here's to more unforgettable moments, more laughter, and more memories that will forever cherish. May this year bring you endless reasons to smile and so many amazing adventures. Happy birthday, Mrs. Apia, from Best Friends BOB. So that's it for happy. If you want to wish a friend, a loved one well, get in touch with us on 053-916-1609. 053-916-1609. We'll be glad to do that for you. So always get in touch with us. We'll do that. And we're getting into executive interview. Executive interview is for you. Okay. Executive interview is the segment which is solely for you. Come and tell Ghanaians about what you do, that business you're running, that startup, that service you are providing. Everything you do, just get in touch with us on the same number I mentioned and come on executive interview and talk to Ghanaians about what you do. Executive interview is for you. You don't want to miss out on it at all. This is an opportunity to interact with Ghanaians and sell yourself to Ghanaians. But before we get into our executive interview, we have another birthday wish and then we will be done. So while we wait to wish that very important person well, Boatima, happy birthday, Boatima. You are a kind-hearted person. Thank you for everything. Keep soaring. And this is coming from Benedicta. Boatima, keep soaring, like Benedicta says. And that's all for happy hour. Up next is executive interview. interview is for you to tell Ghanaians what you do. So to be on executive interview, get in touch with us on 053-916-1609. And today on executive interview, we're looking at the Ghana-Russia Center for Commerce and Relations. Ghana-Russia Center for Commerce and Relations. The Ghana-Russia Center for Commerce and Relations is a dynamic organization dedicated to fostering strong economic and diplomatic ties between Ghana and Russia. By promoting trade, investment, and cultural exchange, the center aims to unlock the full potential of bilateral cooperations between the two countries. To join the Ghana-Russia Center to have further join us to have further discussions on this, Ghana-Russia Center CEO is joining us. He is John Aggrey. Good morning, John. Thank you for joining us.
Good afternoon from here.
Okay, good afternoon to you in Russia. Tell us briefly who you are and how it ties into Ghana-Russia Center.
Thank you very much. My name is John Aggrey. I'm a product of the only school in Ghana and a new reigning champion of the National Science and Maths Quiz. Yes, I think that doesn't need an introduction. I'm also a product of KNUST, where I had my BSc Agriculture. Well, owing to the passion and drive to give back to society and my purpose and will for God's kingdom, I took upon myself the Herculean task of moving away from the norm. And when I talk about the norm, it means go to school, after that apply for a job, be there as much as you can. No, that is right. But I decided to steer off to come up with a bolder decision of not just helping myself, but also for the younger ones.
Okay.
And along the lines came COVID, along the lines came a whole lot of sanctions and restrictions. But here we are with the Ghana-Russia Center for Commerce and Relations. And our main goal is to bridge the negative perception that we have between both countries to unlock the full potential that we have. And that is the reason why we are here to serve not just our young people and not just Ghana, Russia, but globally. Thank you.
Okay. And in serving Ghana, Russia, and even the global work, what does the Center for Commerce and Relations do in particular?
Okay, so for us, we focus more on our principal activities that include B2B matchmaking as well as project management. Our primary focus is more onto the diplomacy area and international relations. As you can see, I'm not in Ghana. I am here as an international speaker, and I'll be talking today at 5 p.m. on food security, which you and I know has also become a bane in the back when it comes to Ghana's food production. And looking at how we have the land, but how best have we even made impact in terms of, you go to the market, a bowl of onion, you can't just buy one bowl of onion. It's just exhausting. So I am here to liaise with other agriculturists and investors and see how best we can develop our own resources. Just as it said, planting for food and jobs, to see how best we can make that meaningful. Okay. Our other activities also include capacity building, research, and also business support services between Ghana and Russia. Thank you.
Are there any challenges you face in this work you are doing?
Well, I don't know if I should call it challenges, but even before we legally registered the company, it's been a headache because I have lost businesses because I'm friendly to the country Russia. I have lost close friends because they don't want to hear anything about the name Russia. I have lost money along the way because anything to do with Russia is a no-no. even instances where I need to open an account and they hear the name Russia, it's like, John, we are very sorry, we cannot do this. And issues of administration, it's been a big headache for us. But we know from our heart of hearts what exactly we want to achieve. So we keep doing our part. There are good days, there are bad days, and there are worst days. But here we are. We're still soldiering on for the best.
What's that factor that is still driving you beyond the kind of pushback you are receiving or you're facing?
Well, you will say our core values is what drives us, and our core values is centered on service excellence, teamwork, trust, and above all, passion. So I always tell young people, without passion, even money cannot move you to sustain an idea. You waste it. So it is the passion that drives us to what we want to achieve. And the passion is both countries offers mutual benefits, but separately there's nothing both can do. So we are here to bridge that gap and make it work. That is what keeps us driving. Yes.
Okay. Do you face backlash or threats engaging in the prospects of the business you're doing? How are you coping? You've mentioned pushbacks, but if there have been any threats, how have you coped with them?
Well, our success story sometimes gives us a leeway. There have been instances where we've met some people and they're like, for your name, there's nothing we can do for you. And I told, okay, just give us about 2 minutes of your time. We make a presentation to them like, hold on. You people did this? Oh, wow. So where have you guys been? We're like, well, until you hear our story, that negative perception that has already been created in the social space, in the media space, takes precedence over. So we've come up with a new project called Travel and See for Yourself. Reimagine Russia. So we're still doing our best. When we are at the airports, at immigration, we face funny questions from some of the officers. Now Russia, like, now you want to say, now Russia, come on guys, I see us, won't pay my life now. We get funny comments, but we remain unfazed with all this, and we just focus on what needs to be done, because at the end of the day, we believe there'll be a better story coming out of it, and that's what drives us to face the challenges that comes our way.
In a better story coming out at the end of the day, so far, what has been the meaningful impact or positive results generated from the work you are doing for both countries?
Okay, well, recently in March, I'm the national chair for the National Preparatory Committee under the World Youth Festival. This was a festival that was proclaimed and declared by the Russian presidency. In Ghana, I'm the national chair. We had the opportunity to fully fund almost close to 40 young Ghanaians to attend. Some stayed for 2 weeks, some stayed for 3 weeks, some stayed for 1 week. And the outcome of it, some of them have been able to engage with Russian business counterparts. Some have even signed MOUs and cooperation agreements. And some of the students have even gotten fully funded scholarship to study in Russia, which is very good, considering when you want to do your master's or PhD, the financial constraints involved. So these are some of the positive outcomes. And in a whole, we've been able to fully fund close to 100 young Ghanaians this year. And if you look at the financial implication, you could know that yes, 100 fully funded, their flights, accommodation, inland transportation, their training, health-wise, everything covered. We have done a good job. And we have started preparing for the incoming scholarship intake for 2025 for all Ghanaians if you want to do your master's or your BSc, we are available to assist you, and it is assured 100% guaranteed from and facilitated by the Ghana Russia Center for Commerce and Relations. So these are some of the benefits and perks in what we do on behalf of our young people in Ghana. Thank you.
If anybody wants to get in touch with you on the work you are doing, what are the ongoing projects or activities you are running at the moment so that they can be aligned?
All right. So as part of our CSR, we want to give back to society. And we have selected Pakro Anglican Basic School this December to support them. They need jerseys and other school materials. And we have liaised with other institutions. So if you are interested to sponsor, to partner, we'll be happy to have you on board. And also the ongoing galamsey that we are facing. We are working with our counterparts to look at how best we could assist 10 communities to reclaim their water bodies, and also if we are taking back that livelihood of galamsey, what is the replacement for them to have a livelihood? Because if you take that from them, they go back to square one. So at the end of the day, we will not solve the galamsey if we do not have a replacement for them. So these are some of the projects we are working towards, and we will be happy to have people on board and what communities we can sponsor. Thank you.
Okay. But if anybody wants to get in touch with you to take advantage of the programs you are giving, scholarship, how do they get in touch with you?
Okay, so they can reach us by email or by phone number. That's the Ghana Russia Commerce at gmail.com. They can send us an email, or they can call our line 054 6051 888 or 020 679 7366, and we will be ready to assist and engage them.
And what will be the cost involved when they get in touch?
There are no costs involved as a consultation. No. Our priority is offering service. That is what we want to do. So it's not pay per call or consultation based. No, we engage and we see how best we can be of help to you. Then we move from there. Yes.
Thank you, John. We are grateful for your time this morning.
Thank you so much.
John Aggrey is the CEO of the Ghana